Hi, I'm Jana. I'm a doula with Yema Mamas, and I'm going to talk to you today about building your birth support team.
We are two women, Jana
and Katie, empowering women to experience new life as Yema Mamas.
We are friends sharing our own lives and learning through childbirth,
motherhood,
singleness,
and womanhood to empower you to discover joy and spiritual well-being in all of life.
You are a woman created for wholeness.
So the number one thing that is most important as you think of who is going to be with you in birth is that you have people who agree with your philosophy of birthing. So that includes your medical care provider, whether you have a doctor or a midwife or an OB/GYN, whoever you have, you need to make sure that they agree with how you want to birth. Also, your husband or your spouse, your partner, or your mother, whoever's going to be your main support person in birth, really needs to get on the same page with you as far as your belief about how you want to birth. So that means you need to figure out your philosophy of birth first. I put on here, I'm going to link to, in the description, I'm going to link to a medical philosophy scale that helps you kind of understand what your beliefs are about medicine, and specifically for childbirth, what that means for you, so that you can kind of walk through that yourself and figure out where you're at, and then be able to communicate that with your care provider. If your care provider starts to ask questions or starts to give doubt, like, yeah, well, most people can't do that, or okay, you can try, but you probably won't get that. That means that they don't agree with your philosophy of birth, and you might need to meet another care provider and see if they are more supportive of what you are desiring for your birth. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you need to have more than one person supporting you in your birth experience. Now, your actual medical care provider, your doctor or midwife, does not count as a person, unfortunately, because they usually are only there right at the end. Even nursing staff, if you're birthing in a hospital, they are not very present at most hospitals. They're there making sure that you're healthy and that baby's healthy, but they have other tasks and responsibilities, and so they are not present with you throughout your laboring experience. So you need at least two people with you throughout your laboring experience, and that would include your spouse or a close family member who's going to be with you the whole time, but you also need an extra support person. That could be a friend, a sister, a mother, a doula would be a good option for you. So that extra support person is there in order to help with being present with you through labor, also to help bring food when it's needed, to help with comfort measures. The dad, who's usually that main support person with you, but the dad also, when there's hours and hours of labor happening, he needs to go to the bathroom, he needs to eat food, he needs to drink water, he needs to sometimes sleep for an hour or two. And even though you in labor might not be able to sleep, it is beneficial to you for your support person to be able to sleep, even if it's just for 1 or 2 hours, so that they can functionally help you continually through labor. Labors can be very long. Especially first-time moms, if you're a first-time mom, they can be a day or 2 days. And so that seems really challenging, and it is. So you need to have a support team who can be present with you and have energy and helping you through that entire time. That way you don't feel alone, you feel cared for and respected through everything. And even if you can't have all that energy and food and sleep, at least your support team has the energy, food, and sleep to support you when you don't. Okay, so at least 2 people. Find 2 people to help you in your birth. So number 3, you need your people to be safe people. So when you are thinking of an extra support person for your birth team, you want to find someone you feel safe with. So if you think like, if you have any conflict or with your mother or a sister, they might not be the best person to invite into your birth. That's why sometimes a doula is a good option if you just don't feel like you might feel really safe with a family member. And then you want to interview different doulas and make sure you feel safe with your doula too. This also includes medical staff. So in the moment of your labor and birth, at hospitals, you might not exactly know who the staff is going to be. Out of hospital births, you usually get to meet exactly who's going to be at your birth beforehand. So that helps you figure out if they are safe people that you feel comfortable with in your home. Or at the birth center. But at a hospital, you have to go in with whoever is on call. But I want to empower you that if you go into your birthing room at your hospital and your nurse comes in and they are not a safe person and you feel like you feel judged, you feel something that's not right, you can't even name it, you're just in labor and you don't feel like you are connecting well with this nurse, or you don't feel cared for by them and you don't feel safe with them. That is okay, and you can ask for a different nurse. There are more than one nurse at the hospital. There's more than one nurse on call at the hospital, and so you can actually request for a different nurse. You do it nicely, clearly, and you can have your support person, so your husband or your friend or your doula can step outside and they can just chat with the nursing staff, either the nurse directly or with a charge nurse. You can ask for a charge nurse or just speak with another nurse, whoever is available, and just explain that you're not feeling that the person birthing, the mama, is not feeling safe and that you would like to have another nurse assigned to you. You can also do this for the on-call midwife or OB. So there's always more than one midwife or OB available. And so if someone comes into the room during your birth, an OB, and they are saying things that make you feel uncomfortable, or you don't feel heard, or you don't feel listened to, and you're not able to resolve it in the moment, then you can ask for another OB or another midwife to see. If they don't have another midwife, they might assign another OB, but there's always an on-call. Sometimes it's a hospitalist, just someone who works at the hospital, but they'll have someone available to care for you. So the key is here, you need to feel safe for birth. You birth well when you feel safe. If you have someone in the room who is not safe, it is important for you to communicate that nicely, as nicely as you can, but most importantly, communicate it, and for your support team to help you to make that change. And if you offend someone, you offend someone. That's okay. It's your birth. It is your birth experience. It is doesn't happen every day for you, so you need to have care and respect for that. Okay, number 4, calm people. You need the presence of someone who is calm. So I teach dads in my classes and all my clients. I teach dads how to have a calm presence. I also bring that calm presence as a doula, that I'm not afraid and I will move slowly, peacefully. You speak slowly and peacefully. You don't want to be like running around like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Are you okay? Like, okay, I'm rubbing your back really fast. Like, that's not helpful because it gives this stress, tension, communication. It's nonverbal communication, but it gives that communication. And if you're afraid and you're bringing that tension into the room, it will affect mom. So as the mama, you need to make sure that your support people you're inviting into your space are calm and present with you and not afraid. And so if they need help if your spouse needs help to be reassured that everything is calm, then that would mean you need to invite someone else into that space who can bring that calm for them and show them how to do that, whether it be a family member or a doula. Or let's say I have a lot of clients who invite their mother to be at their birth, and you need to make sure that your mother is someone who can be calm and supportive and not afraid either. It's really hard for moms to see their daughter in pain, and so you just need to make sure you have that conversation beforehand, and also make sure that in the moment, if there is a lot of tension in the room and she is afraid and not able to support you in a calm presence way, that you can have an agreement for her to step out of the room. Whoever is tense in the room does need to step out, and that's another role a doula can have, is that if they see tension happening, that they can have a conversation, and you don't have to worry about that as the mom, but have a conversation to help take that tension down, either change that tension or take the tension out of the room so that you are not getting a stress response from someone. Okay, so that's number 4, calm presence. Number 5, so you need someone who is helpful and willing to serve you. That means they're willing to do anything that is needed. So as a doula, that means I'll go grab food for the dad. I'll go get the luggage out of the car. I will get a bag for vomit. I will clean up blood and underwear and put it in a bag in the luggage. Whatever needs to be done, I'm willing to do it. And that's what a doula does to serve. But that can be a family member as well, or a friend. So you just need to find someone who is helpful, who is willing to do anything, can clean up things, can serve you, can help the dad, can show you some things to do to get in different positions, will help hold your leg while you birth. Whatever it is, they're willing to do it and help you. And also helpful to dad, so that dad can ask them to do things and not feel uncomfortable. So make sure it's someone who, dad can say, hey, can you get me a washcloth of cold water? Can you refill the water bottle for mom? And he can stay present with you. That's a really helpful person. Okay, lastly, and I do want to say for the support team, what can be helpful as well for postpartum, because you might have a lot of friends and family who say, hey, I want to be helpful to you, but they're not people who you're going to invite into your birth space. However, that can be a benefit to you for postpartum. So I encourage you to take advantage of all those helpful people everyone who's willing to do something for you. And I would make a list of things that are helpful for you. That could be do a load of laundry, take the trash out, wash my dishes, bring me a coffee, whatever you think, hold my baby while I take a shower. Just very simple, small tasks. Bring me a meal that you would appreciate and know that would be helpful to you. I would make a list of them now while you're pregnant and not while you're postpartum, and have it available so that when all those helpful people say, hey, what can I do for you? Let me know. You can just say, hey, I made a list of all these things that'd be helpful. If you want to come over, it's on my front door or it's on my fridge, and I would love it if you could do any of those things. That way you don't have to get out of bed, you don't have to be creative, you can just take advantage of people who care for you and want to help you. Okay, so helpful, willing to serve people. Those are also your support team. Lastly, number 6, a lot of times in our American culture, we don't live in the same city as our families. And so what happens is when we get close to our birth time, our families come to us and they want to be here for the birth and to see the baby and help you. What that means is that they need a place to stay, and often you invite them to stay in your house. The problem with this potentially is that you are about to go through a really challenging experience where you are going to need some healing afterwards, and you need care, and also you're going to be taking care of another human being, a little baby, and it's going to take a lot of your time and your energy and your sleep and your mental capacity and your body capacity, and you're also feeling all of those postpartum things because your body's transitioning hormonally, physically and mentally in a new season. All to say, as a postpartum mama with a new baby, you need a lot of care. When you invite people to stay in your home, you put yourself in a position to be hospitable to them, to make sure that they're taken care of, that you're hosting them, that they have food, that they have things to do, that they have blankets, that they have shower, that they have towels, all these things, that your house is clean. All to say, you need to really think about when you're inviting family to stay with you at birth, and consider having them stay at another friend's house or family member's house or a hotel, and come into your home during the day to take care of you. Now that's a conversation you need to have with your family and figure out for yourself what your tendency will be. But if you are going to not be able to just rest and not take care of anyone else and let yourself be cared for, then you need your family to stay somewhere else. If you're gonna have that in your mind, like you're always gonna want to take care of them and host them. If you feel like you can stay in bed and just hold your baby and like let people care for you in your own home, then it might work out for you to have someone stay with you. But you really got to pay attention to who is present, have that conversation, make sure that you can just receive care and that you're inviting people into your home that are going to give you care and not expect care. So be very intentional about that so you don't end up in just an awkward position postpartum, needing care, but then feeling like you need to care for your family. So yeah, that's it. This is how you build your support team. So you have good support during your birth and postpartum. You will be well cared for. Make sure you take a look at what doulas do for that. They can be a really great help, but you do have to hire someone, interview different people for birth and postpartum care, but they come and do these things I'm describing to you. They are just there to serve you and take care of you through this whole process. So do consider that. And if you have any questions, please ask in the comments or share your own thoughts in the comments. And I'm going to link in the description to a couple different resources that are helpful for you for making a list postpartum and figuring out your philosophy of birth. So thank you.